What's up, YouTube? Nick izSlime back with another video, back with another reaction, bro. We got part 3 of the real killer or fake gangster reaction. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the like button, follow the Instagram, follow the Twitch, follow the TikTok, all the handles in the description below. Let's get it, man. The murder anthems that made YB famous. Smash the like button on this, bro. Get it.
Youngboy's run from 2015 to the end of 2017 was one of a kind. He dropped 8 solo mixtapes and one joint one with Moneybagg Yo, giving fans more music in his formative years than some artists deliver in their entire careers. And this generosity with his art was rewarded by a cult following of loyal fans who fell in love with the music and would always show up for him from here on out. 3 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 and 3 projects on Billboard's 200 albums charts. Youngboy was flourishing in the music industry since signing his Monster 5 album $2 million deal with Atlantic. But Youngboy was making murder music all about violence and killing. And before we go any further, I just want to address something. In Youngboy's songs from 2017 and in numerous tracks that came later in his career, he seemingly claims to have 7 bodies. And despite being considered a mainstream artist making music for respected record labels, the content of his music and his own statements in these songs has led to intense speculation over whether or not Youngboy has in fact personally killed anyone, or more specifically, more than 7 people, as he claims in many of his songs, with many wondering exactly who these people he claimed to have killed might have been. This is not dissimilar to all of the speculation that has surrounded Chicago drill rapper King Von, who was rumored to have killed at least 7 people, with his name being connected to as many as 11 murders, with an endless collection of tweets and lyrics which saw King Von himself seemingly confessing to playing a role in these specific murders. I personally believe that King Von did indeed kill at least 7 people, and I covered this extensively in my recent video, King Von, Rap's First Serial Killer. But when it comes to Youngboy, it's much harder to say. After the alleged killer of G Money was revealed to have been an affiliate of the NBA crew, many people thought Youngboy had directly paid for this hit. Youngboy has released lyrics before and after G Money's death, suggesting that he was willing to engage in murder for hire, like the track Ride On 'Em, and years later, on his Richest Op album, rapping on the song Dirty Thug, that he just has to pay the fee for his shooters to leave people dead in the street. Also on the track Bitch Let's Do It, where Youngboy claimed that his gang would creep up and put his ops' heads on pillows. He would also rap that he used his dollars to send hits through the city, and that when this worked, he went on to go crazy with bodies. Also on the track Slimes Go Where I Go, Youngboy opens his verse confessing that he believes he could get 100 years in jail for the murders he's been involved in. As his career has gone on, more and more fans have theorized as to whether or not Youngboy has killed, or whether he has at least had people killed. There's even a fan theory that Youngboy has a child for every person he kills, a theory partly supported by lyrics on a leaked song that didn't end up on the album top, but was circulating in the days leading up to its release, a song apparently titled Soul Stealer, where Youngboy raps that he has guns with bodies on them and that he's part of a group that he had to kill to join, even ending the song saying that he's 7 up, but he needs 3 more, and saying that he needs 10 bodies, 10 hats, and 10 mama baby souls. Which, if you consider the fact that he apparently has 10 or 11 kids at this point, could very well hold water. However, some of the conspiracy theories on exactly who Youngboy may be referring to when he says he has over 7 bodies do seem like a bit of a stretch. The first person Youngboy is rumored to have killed or had killed was one of the killers of Youngboy's childhood friend Lil Dave, with this speculation being based off a single Youngboy lyric where he appeared to suggest that he paid for vengeance for Dave after he begun making large sums of money. Years later, on the track F the Industry Part 2 on his album Richest Op, Youngboy would drop a lyric seemingly confessing to having had to kill somebody at age 16, but it's unclear who this may have been. But on the same song, Youngboy would also drop a menacing lyric saying that he witnessed somebody beating his mother as a child and that he killed them when he grew up. Whether or not you believe that Youngboy would be capable of killing somebody, you can't deny the fact that after his cousin Boozilla got killed, he caught a double attempted murder charge whilst personally trying to avenge his cousin. However, as the judge acknowledged, nobody actually did die in this case. G Money, however, was less lucky, being gunned down after trading public death threats with Youngboy. And while the actual shooters of G Money were never found, the conviction of a prominent NBA member on accessory charges firmly pointed the finger at the NBA camp. The next alleged killing is a rumor that's heavily debated amongst Youngboy fans. An unreleased Youngboy song called Money Man has been circulating on YouTube, Reddit, and SoundCloud for a number of years. The song isn't listed on lyric breakdown sites like Genius.com, but the track itself does include some outrageous lyrics that have gone viral numerous times on Reddit, particularly lyrics that seem to suggest that Youngboy killed a rival gang member's girlfriend in retaliation for his grandmother's house being shot up. This
I've
all
never
relates
heard
to a
the song
feud with
before.
another set of Baton Rouge street hitters called TMH, or Too Many Hitters. The story goes that somebody from TMH shot up Youngboy's grandmother's house. However, TMH32 would later deny this shooting in lyrics on his song FAN. But according to lyrics from Youngboy's song Money Man, another person from TMH by the name of Hammer was actually targeted in a shooting, which unfortunately ended up claiming the life of his girlfriend. Now, while this is just a lyric and an unreleased freestyle, Youngboy fans on Reddit have desperately tried to solve this crime, with one theory suggesting that the victim was a 19-year-old woman by the name of Ernisha Barnes. The news would go on to report on the shooting, suggesting that she was a passenger in a car hit by accident whilst the shooting targeted the driver.
We also have now learned the identity and the name of that 19-year-old woman. Police tell us that it was about 10:15 last night when an unknown suspect in a red Chevy Trailblazer fired several shots into a car with 19-year-old Ernisha Barnes sitting in the passenger seat. It happened near Gus Young and 48th Street. We're told that Barnes was actually taken to a local hospital where she later died.
Barnes died of a gunshot wound to the stomach after police say a suspect traveling in a red Chevy Trailblazer fired into the car she was a passenger in. Several sources said 2 other people were in the car at the time. It is believed that one of them, Ernisha's best friend, was the intended target.
No one would ever think suspect or imagine something like that happening to them, they child,
However, despite fan theories that Youngboy was in fact responsible for this tragic murder, later on, 2 completely unrelated people would be taken into custody for this shooting, with it being claimed that the shootout stemmed from an argument and that the shooter was targeting the driver of the vehicle Barnes was in. Donnie Spencer was charged with first-degree murder for the shooting, despite publicly claiming to be innocent, and Ashley Taylor was charged with attempted second-degree murder and illegal use of a weapon, for apparently shooting at a woman in the same spot just minutes before this fatal drive-by, with cops claiming that the 2 shootings were connected and that both shootings stemmed from an ongoing argument.
Scotty Hunter tonight with the key thing that helped police make a very quick arrest.
The man accused of carrying out this year's record-breaking murder in Baton Rouge, 27-year-old Donnie Spencer, is behind bars tonight. As he was loaded off to prison, he had nothing to say except one thing.
Innocent.
Spencer's charged with first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder after allegedly gunning down 19-year-old mother Ernisha Barnes last Thursday in a drive-by shooting on
The fuck they be pulling up Facebook pictures of everybody? Like, what the? This nigga's cheesing. I thought that was a mugshot or something.
Young at 48th. His information put out on Friday. Roughly 72 hours later, he was picked up today by the U.S. Marshals Task Force.
Now, the rumor that Youngboy was involved in this murder has been widely considered to have been debunked, as Donnie Spencer would eventually be sentenced to 22 years for this murder. However, that hasn't stopped rabid Youngboy fans from continuing to spread the rumor that the person who took the charge was actually just doing it on behalf of Youngboy to take the fall, since he'd maintained his innocence during proceedings. And this rumor's been kept alive by yet more ambiguous Youngboy lyrics that seem to mention a woman being killed in the crossfire. Youngboy seemed to mention a similar situation in an unreleased song called Stay in Your Lane, rapping about how she got killed outside a corner store, seemingly a reference to the location of the killing of Barnes. And later, Youngboy rapped in the song Murder Man, thought it was him, it was his bitch. Let me tell you how that go, I'm the murder man. And even more recently, on his 2023 album Richest Op, where he rapped on the song I Heard that someone got swerved on with his girl, she got hit, and all he heard was her last breath. Now, despite the fact that this particular murder has been solved with a suspect who was sentenced for the murder, fans would continue to be desperate to try and link Youngboy to specific murders going forward, and Youngboy himself would appear to be happy to contribute to these conspiracies. Throughout his career, he's continued to make supposed murder anthems. Murder songs are essentially a subgenre of Youngboy songs, primarily where he raps all about these supposed murders and assassinations that he may or may not be responsible for, and repeatedly referring to himself in these songs as a gravedigger or the murder man, and claiming to be doing his Murder Man dance to these songs, with Youngboy fans even rabidly creating playlists of what they feel are his best murder songs, and ranking which murder anthem is the best for spinning on ops, with it generally being considered that Youngboy's top murder anthem is Dead Trolls, the track which appeared to foreshadow King Von's death, a song where Youngboy actually raps 7 murders in my hometown, tell them I did that. Naturally, with all of this violent content in the music, and even more real-life violence playing out on the streets of Baton Rouge, it's perhaps not surprising that big corporate entities would be scared to be associated with Youngboy, the self-proclaimed murder man. But despite Atlantic Records being willing to put their public support behind Youngboy in the form of a multi-million-dollar record deal, others would be desperate to distance themselves from the violent content of his music. And it's worth noting that a little while after signing his record deal in 2017, Youngboy quietly changed his official name from NBA Youngboy to Youngboy Never Broke Again, Apparently this was a tactical maneuver carried out to avoid a potentially costly and damaging copyright dispute with the real NBA, the National Basketball Association. The initials NBA are trademarked and intellectual property of the National Basketball Association. And ironically, had Youngboy kept using NBA in his name, he very well could have ended up getting sued and ended up very much broke again. With the National Basketball Association generally being a bit more of a family-friendly business that likely don't want to be associated with the sort of street activity that Youngboy's NBA are into. Unless your name's Ja Morant, of course, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, after resolving his name change and avoiding a potentially costly legal dispute with the other NBA, and after the murder of his biggest rival in the Baton Rouge rap scene, G Money, Youngboy, with the support of his label, would launch into a huge promotional campaign for his next project, setting the stage for Youngboy to have a meteoric 2018, which saw him break into the mainstream music conversation. In January 2018, he released his big commercial single, Outside Today. The song itself was interesting thematically, and perhaps foreshadows Youngboy's constant subjugation to house arrest. Only in this song, he says that he's staying inside to avoid the paparazzi and all the attention that has come from his newfound fame. The song wasn't short of gangster content either. Elsewhere in the hook, he rapped that he would still do a drive-by in his Rolls-Royce Wraith. Youngboy goes on to make a pretty bold and shocking claim, stating that if you want to join NBA, you need to have caught a body, along with other lyrics where he claims to jump out and shoot at people's houses, describing the exact scenario where he caught 2 attempted murder charges after the murder of Boozilla. He follows that up with a lyric claiming to always be telling the truth and never capping in his lyrics, a bold claim which is followed up by another ominous lyric where he claims to shoot his ops and their women. Another lyric which is eerily similar to the rumoured shooting of an innocent woman that we discussed earlier on. Now, the music video for the song makes a big statement about where Youngboy's life was at this point in his career. In the music video, Youngboy's girlfriend at the time, Jania, can be seen trying to avoid a group of paparazzi asking questions as she enters his home. Youngboy would rap his verses for this song in an opulent mansion, along with a cameo from Louisiana's #1 stunner himself, Birdman, the legendary New Orleans record exec and rapper of Cash Money fame. The red-themed video, along with the presence of Birdman, one of hip-hop's most famous Blood Gang members, appeared to be a subtle hint at Youngboy's ongoing connections to the Blood Gang, as can also be heard in their 2018 collaboration, We Poppin'. And Youngboy and Birdman would maintain a close relationship going forward, and they would even eventually create a joint mixtape together with a strong Louisiana theme titled From the Bayou. Birdman would also be one of the very first people in the industry to see Youngboy's full potential, predicting in a 2018 interview just days before Outside Today released that Youngboy would be the biggest young superstar that the rap game had ever heard of.
I think he the next biggest young superstar the game that never had. Talent-wise, he's an animal. He's a monster. I had the pleasure of being around him and see how he work, watch how he work. I think he's gonna be the next biggest superstar in the world. As the youngsters.
Birdman was spot on, and that single Outside Today ended up becoming Youngboy's breakout hit, landing on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart at number 31. The song Outside Today would actually be the lead single for Youngboy's debut studio album, titled Until Death Call My Name, which was released on April the 27th, 2018. This project was a resounding success for Youngboy, peaking at number 7 on the Billboard 200 albums charts, his highest performing project at the time and his first top 10 Billboard hit. And the project also included the song Genie, his most viewed solo hit, which today sits at over 380 million views on YouTube. The
probably got like 500 million now.
The project itself was laced with interesting and introspective lyrics where Youngboy painted a picture of the dark life he was living. The song Preach has lyrics where Youngboy talks about how he often thinks about his dead homies, and we hear Youngboy reflecting on the state of his mental health as he speaks on how he masks his pain every morning with a smile. The album also references members of his NBA team as shooters like Baby Joe in the first song Solar Eclipse, and secondly in the song Right or Wrong, where he says Baby Joe will put that Draco to people's back or heads. And in the song Solar Eclipse, Youngboy also reveals that he keeps a firearm even when performing on stage. Elsewhere in the song, he pays homage to legend of Chicago drill music Chief Keef, saying that he's killing like the Grim Reaper and drilling like Chief Keef. An ironic line, given the eventual beef between NBA and Chicago rappers a few years down the line. But at this point, Youngboy had truly arrived in the rap game, a top 10 charting artist with the whole power of the music industry behind him, despite the violent content behind his lyrics. But unfortunately for Youngboy, despite his success as a rapper, his past in the streets would indeed catch up with him and his team, and soon he would end up losing one of the people closest to him, his close friend and manager, Big Dump.
R.I.P. that nigga Big Dump.
Youngboy had a wildly successful start to 2018 after releasing his debut album Until Death Call My Name. And one man who no doubt played a major role in securing these major career wins was his close friend and manager, Desmond "Dump" Hardnett. Nicknamed Dump because he apparently loved to play with dump trucks as a child. He grew up and became a key man in Youngboy's operation, and they would foster a close personal friendship during Youngboy's come-up, with that close friendship ultimately making the loss of Dump a devastating tragedy for Youngboy. On May the 4th, 2018, just before 6 p.m, Big Dump was apparently standing on Nairn Street outside his uncle's house next to his childhood home when a car pulled up and somebody opened fire on Dump and a woman he was standing with. Baton Rouge police officers responded to a report of a drive-by shooting. When they arrived, they found Dump and a woman suffering from gunshot wounds. They would both be taken to the hospital, but sadly Dump would pass away.
Baton Rouge police say 29-year-old Desmond Hardnett died last night from his injuries. Police say Hardnett and a 32-year-old woman were both shot during a drive-by shooting yesterday afternoon. That happened near the corner of Nairn and Baywell. We're told the woman's injuries are not expected to be life-threatening.
Within a few days of Dump's murder, local news outlets would begin reporting on his connection to Youngboy and the NBA crew. Many years later, Lil Dump, Big Dump's nephew, would even return to the location of the murder, explaining in a vlog exactly how that day went down.
What the business is, Lil Dump, I'm running it about my life and how I grew up. Let's get it. My Uncle Dump died on this street I grew up on.
Oh, that's his uncle? I thought that was his dad. His name Lil Dump?
Yeah,
My uncle died by himself with nobody around, you feel what I'm saying? Like, no homeboys, no none of that shit. My uncle died at this house. Basically, he ran from here to there, under my uncle's driveway. That's how it really happened.
Naturally, Youngboy would be heartbroken after the loss of Dump, and in the years following Dump's death, Youngboy memorialized his fallen brother in numerous songs, like in his September 2018 track, R.I.P. Dump, a heartfelt tribute to his fallen manager, a song that was part of Youngboy's 4-track EP, For Loyalty. On the song R.I.P. Dump, Youngboy expresses his sorrow and sadness at losing his right-hand man, and seemingly vowing revenge, saying that he has killers backing him up, as well as hinting towards a certain deceased op, rapping that somebody else can't diss because they're dead now. Youngboy would continue to pay homage to Dump in his music for years to come. He would also drop the 2022 track Letter to Big Dump, a track that was written in the perspective of Youngboy writing a letter to Dump in the afterlife, updating him on all the progress that he had made since Dump passed away. It would also include a lyric where Youngboy claimed to have had a conversation with the person who put a hit on Dump, with Fredo Bang confirming in a Vlad TV interview in 2023 that he did indeed have a phone call with Youngboy.
Did the two of you get on the phone together? We talked.
Clearly, Youngboy knew who was responsible, and it didn't take long for people to begin making theories of their own. Following this tragic incident, many people began to point the finger at TBG, with the main names involved in TBG at this point being Fredo Bang, Lit Yoshi, and Boulevard Quick. And as time went on, there would be numerous lyrics coming out of the TBG Records camp that hinted towards the group having had something to do with the murder of Dump. Fredo Bang was particularly hurt by the loss of his friend G Money, explaining to DJ Small's Eyes in an interview that he broke down in tears in jail when he heard the news of G's death. Fredo Bang was incarcerated on a 2016 attempted murder charge at the time of G Money's death.
They had a shooting by the studio, man. G got killed. So I'm like, man, I ain't trying to hear out. You know what I'm saying? Hang up in his face. I dropped the phone. I just broke down in tears, like you know how a baby cry in front of 120 grown men. You know what I'm saying? In a real war zone.
And he would go on to publicly blame himself for G Money's murder, suggesting that had he been free, G might still be alive today, as well as saying in an interview that G Money was supposed to leave Baton Rouge, but he had waited around because he knew Fredo Bang was due to get out of jail soon.
The only reason G was in Baton Rouge was because he was waiting on me. I was supposed to get released that week.
Ironically, Fredo Bang caught his charges back in 2016 before the beef between Youngboy and G Money had escalated, and Fredo would even later claim in interviews that he was cool with NBA when he went to jail, and that he didn't even realize that they were in a serious beef until G Money had died. A month after Dump's death, Fredo Bang would be a free man, and he would release a tribute song to his fallen friend G Money titled Father, where Fredo would be seen in the video visiting G Money's grave. As well as being a tribute to mourn the loss of G Money, Fredo Bang would also drop hints in the song alluding to revenge, at one point hinting towards having placed a hit on someone from jail, and ending his second verse saying that now G Money is dead, he will have to sin again. But Fredo's lyrics merely hinted at revenge for what had happened to G. However, other, more disrespectful songs would be released not long after, sending suspicions through the roof. Fredo Bang and Boulevard Quick had a song called Body Bag which released just 2 months after Dump's death.
that
And in the
Chucky
music
doll.
video,
Right.
Fredo Bang was seen swinging around another Chucky doll. This is a reference to G Money's music video Industry, which itself was a reference to Youngboy's video What I Was Taught. Something that signals to me a very personal message from Fredo Bang that all of these videos are connected. But beyond the visuals, the lyrics to Body Bag painted a shocking picture. Fredo would rap that they'd pull up on ops and dump the whole clip, and that TBG stretch people. The track had lyrics that said they put someone's homie in a box for dropping knots, i.e. spending money to place hits, and saying that they caught him outside the house, which describes the circumstances of Dump's murder. Boulevard Quick would again reference Dump, apparently running from the shooters, saying, "I heard he tripped over his shoelaces," and Fredo would seemingly call out Yoshi and Quick as shooters. Boulevard Quick even claimed to be shooting people from the window of cars, and that would be followed by Boulevard Quick's song And One, which also prominently featured a Chucky doll again. And in that song, Quick would rap that he would have died for G Money and telling Youngboy to go dig his friend up, as well as dissing Youngboy, saying that he went to jail for attempted murder without even shooting anyone. After that, another Fredo Bang song called Lot of Smoke dropped, and in this song, he would rap that he put someone on their back and that he's smoking on a fat man and that he's not dumping the ashes, as well as going on to rap, "I killed your partner, I ain't sorry." In January 2019, Fredo Bang would release a tribute song to his friend YNW Melly called Free Melvin, and in this song, he would seemingly name Boulevard Quick as his shooter and saying that he committed murder after murder, as well as lyrics where he claims that his friend caught a body and Fredo thanked him, going on to say that they were dumping clips and Free Boulevard, seemingly painting a picture of Boulevard Quick as indeed being Dump's killer. In September 2019, TBG rapper Lit Yoshi would also release a track called Blasting, which came with lyrics about walking people down in their own hood and making ops run, but still leaving them slumped and shooting them with 7.62 bullets. Yoshi would also later release and delete a track called Chase Down, where he appeared to describe the circumstances of Dump being shot whilst with a woman who was screaming as he ran, and continuing to describe the scene where he claims to have personally chased someone down and left him face down, as well as claiming the whole city are against him and that he's always going to dump or shoot, and claiming to even have a $150,000 bounty on his head, but he's not scared and he's still making his ops run. One particular standout lyric was from his song Drake's, where he says he put it on that truck, an obvious reference to Dump. Lit Yoshi would also release his new song Runts, named after the popular brand of Mary Jane, on 4/20/2020, and in that song he would rap that he's smoking on that truck while standing on what looked like a large dump truck, as well as dropping lyrics where he claimed that he'd catch ops in their own hood and shoot them, and repeating the ad-lib "dump dump dump," which he censored on the music video version of the song. However, uncensored versions
What?
That's so crazy.
What? That just keep referencing it?
Yeah.
of this track do still circulate on YouTube. And in the verses, seemingly addressing Youngboy directly, he would rap that he hit someone's partner up, and claiming that when bullets get to flying, people start running while he's coming, gunning, and dumping. Even in a 2021 interview with DJ Vlad, when asked about Dump, Fredo Bang seems to beam an enormous smile across his face before catching himself and then pretending to not know who Dump is at all.
This guy named Dump ended up getting killed in May 2018.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Like what, bro? He just fried me, bro. Like what? This nigga gotta be off some shit, bro. He gotta be off some shit, bro. You see how you smile?
Getting killed in May
Like,
2018.
what,
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No, I ain't never heard of him.
Okay.
Dump's
He
murder
caught
was
himself,
never
like-
officially solved, but the music
Nigga
painted a
weirdo,
clear
bro.
picture of who had the most to gain from Dump's death. And as time went on, more of those people would continue to make songs and social media posts mocking Dump's death and antagonizing the NBA crew. And so, perhaps unsurprisingly, it was only a matter of months before a deadly retaliation would take place, leaving one of those individuals who had mocked Dump's untimely demise facing the exact same fate. By summer 2018, the Baton Rouge rap scene was in the grips of a violent gang war between numerous factions. The 2016 murder of NBA Youngboy's cousin Boozilla was just the first in a chain of deadly shootings that would claim the lives of members on both sides. After narrowly beating 2 attempted murder charges trying to avenge his cousin, Youngboy would ultimately remain free to pursue his music career, but the NBA members backing him would seemingly continue to wage war against his rivals in the streets. The September 2017 murder of former friend turned rap rival G Money would see his friends from his crew TBG looking to avenge him, and ultimately that revenge would come in the form of the murder of Youngboy's close friend and manager, Big Dump, in May 2018. But the violence would be far from over. Before Boozilla was killed, he had released a song called Forgive Me, where he dissed another local rapper by the name of FL Doosa. Boozilla would be killed soon after, and that music video would be flooded with comments suggesting that Doosa had something to do with his death. On June 3rd, 2018, violence would reignite once again on Kentucky Street, which is interestingly the very street that Youngboy and his NBA affiliates shot up in retaliation for Boozilla's murder. And it would be here that FL Doosa, along with 2 other gunmen, would be involved in a shootout on 2000 Kentucky Street. According to the police, one person was shot 3 times in the back, and another was hit in the arm and leg, with cops finding 27 shell casings in the street. Reportedly, one of the victims was BBGD, who was shot in the back. And according to a news article, one of the victims even identified the shooter as FL Doosa, as well as another person who was not initially named, but later confirmed to have been taken into custody. Rumours would later circulate that BBGD had cooperated with authorities to identify Doosa as the shooter, partly due to TBG rapper Lit Yoshi seemingly telling fans that Doosa was doing 5 years due to NBA members ratting on him. And he denied wanting to beef with NBA members, saying that they will rat on people, ultimately telling them to slide for Boozilla.
I won't go to jail. Them boys free Doosa. Doosa already doing 5 years. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want no smoke with no BBG. All of my boys. So y'all stop saying that like I'm beefing with them boys. I'm not. I don't want no smoke with none of them. I'm scared of them. They'll end your life. They'll have you face the time. I'm scared of them boys. They're my boys. I love them. I don't want no beef with them. Better start sliding for their own people that's dead. RP Boozilla.
Yoshi would go on to insult Youngboy and the NBA crew, suggesting that when someone dies, the whole NBA gang claim responsibility for that one body, likely a reference to G Money.
Somebody died, the whole city will rep on one body. That's crazy. When somebody died, the whole city will get on Instagram and rep on it, and ain't got nothing to do with it. These crazy.
But it wasn't just Lit Yoshi showing public disrespect to the NBA crew. Boulevard Quick also called out NBA members for allegedly snitching on Doosa and claimed that Youngboy was too scared to live in Baton Rouge.
You know the real. You told on Doosa, got the man in penitentiary, and you told the people you couldn't live down here, so y'all relocated to California.
On social media, Boulevard Quick was continuing to diss the NBA crew in his music. He would release a remix to Youngboy's own song War With Us in June 2018, calling it a G-mix in tribute to G Money, and once again including a Chucky doll in the music video, as both Youngboy, G Money and Fredo Bang had all done in previous diss songs and their music videos. It featured an intro that showed people pulling up to Youngboy's street on 38th and Chippewa and shooting someone, as well as numerous lyrics providing an insight into the ongoing tension between these two groups, rapping that word around town is that he's going to get killed, but he's not hiding, and that he's still sliding.
That nigga went to YB Street.
A couple of months later, on the 2nd of August 2018, Boulevard Quick released a bold music video for his new song Never Lackin'. The track was a boastful diss to his ops, where he invited them to pull up on him, and he claimed that they will never catch him lacking because he's always armed. He would also rap that people are claiming to be putting money on his head, but he's not scared. And the song would end with a rant where Quick would taunt his ops, claiming that despite them putting up money to have him killed, he's still alive and breathing.
You dropped the bag while I'm still breathing. I got breath in my body, fake ass boy.
A little while after this, a preview of a Youngboy song would circulate, where Youngboy dissed G Money and threatened to shoot someone like the Last Gorilla, a reference to their crew, Top Boy Gorillas, TBG, with Quick reacting to this snippet after a wave of people tagged him, saying everybody Youngboy knows, including his mother and father, are hoes.
I tagged me and all. You see this hip? I cut that up. Your mama's, your dad is, everybody you roll with.
But Quick wasn't done there. He would also be seen on social media telling a story about OG33, saying that he beat him up in jail and that 3 requested protection from him and Fredo Bang.
3 in the dorm with me. He had just came to the dorm that night. That morning, I walked up to his bed, woke him up, punched him in his stomped him out. He on himself and told and checked out. Told the people he cannot be around me or Fredo Bang. Yeah, that was 3 said. He cannot live around me or Fredo Bang.
Clearly, Youngboy wasn't discouraged by the beef or the threats. and in September 2018, he would have the successful release of his latest project, Decided, landing at 41 on the Billboard 200. However, the tension really escalated when Youngboy's mother Sharonda came into the picture. She would appear on IG Live in October 2018 and begun responding to death threats in the comments, telling viewers that she keeps a big gun under her bed. As the live went on, somebody would comment that Fredo Bang and Boulevard Quick want to get Youngboy, prompting Sharonda to say F both of them.
Let me see. Fredo Bang and Quick wants to get Youngboy. Fredo Bang and Boulevard Slow.
To which Boulevard Quick responded with a vulgar and unfiltered rant on his Instagram, saying F Youngboy's mum and saying she looks like a man.
Boy, mom, tell me about that. That eat a big long. I'm talking about so long that ain't a daughter she dream about making. Yeah, man. That bitch can get out my bitch can say what she won't say about me. She hollering, me, bitch, you look like a man, though. Bitch, you look like a punk. Talking about me, bitch, I ain't Fredo, bitch, I speaks on everything. Boy, that nigga mama. Bitch, play with me first. That hoe.
Sharonda then jumped on live once more to respond, mocking Boulevard Quick, joking that she was sorry that she'd made him cry, and saying that he's fat.
I had woke up this morning, everybody in my earbuds talk about the little boy Boulevard Quick was talking about me. But I really got on him to tell him that I'm sorry. I came to tell little Boulevard Quick that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I made you cry, boo. I'm for real. Cause I wasn't being mean. Like somebody was on my thing, like I'm reading out, and somebody said, oh, somebody hit me, his little friend. So I said, his friend. Cause I'm like, I feel like anybody that don't like my children, and that's how I am. If you don't like my children, you know, y'all. I wasn't being mean or mess or nothing. And then I saw him on fucking Instagram, YouTube, whatever, crying yesterday about, oh, his mama put my name in her mouth, and that's up, and I swear to God, man, she better keep my name out her mouth. I'm sorry, boo. I'm sorry I put your name in your mouth, because I saw you crying. She looked like a man. She ugly. She got man features. I'm sorry, boo. I'm sorry for talking about you, because you look like a ball. You got round features, boo. I'm sorry. She want to be a comedian so bad. Bitch, you want to be a rapper so bad. I'm sorry I made you cry. For real. I don't know you, boo. I don't. I'm sorry. I was just saying, whoever don't like my church, I wasn't just saying, you know, trying to be mean or messy. They be on my thing, talking about you, saying you said this and that, and so that's why I said y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you just said us plenty of days. I ain't trying to be mean. I wasn't trying to be mean, like, for real though. Like, for real, I'm a mama. Anybody that don't like my children, if anybody who don't like me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you personally, because I don't know you. I do not know you. So go ahead and, you know, I said I'm sorry on live in front of everybody. So now you can go back to a grocery store and make you some more little videos.
Boulevard Quick would respond once again, saying that it was Youngboy's mother who started it by dissing him and his friends.
You so got some manly features on your mother, man. Stupid. Like a whole game playing with a shit. Yeah, man, you know if people gotta say, yeah, I spoke on, I did that, I can't take that back. Tell my name out of mouth. And keep my partner name out of mouth. We talking about I gotta diss people for fame. I ain't dissing no fame. Mama came for me. Talking about Fredo Bang, Boulevard Slow.
And after this, Youngboy himself spoke on the matter in live, warning Boulevard Quick that this internet beef will end with him having the last laugh, and saying that his ops are going to either die, go broke, or go to jail.
This internet alone. I hope y'all stupid know that. This internet alone. Bitch, y'all finna be assed out. All y'all fake ass trappers, rappers, gunslingers, strippers, Instamops. Bitch, y'all finna be assed out. Bitch, this ain't lasting for long, ho. That money gonna last for long. Bitch, we gonna see who gonna have the last laugh. It's either you gonna die, you either gonna be a bum, or you gonna be successful, or you gonna go to jail. And the reason I act that way is because the scary part, I don't know which one I'm gonna be. You hear me? But I ain't dumb though. You hear me? And them people who play that role, to y'all, them bitches know I ain't dumb. The people who really know me, they know I ain't dumb. You hear me? How the I came this far? You think I came this far by being dumb, you stupid bitch? You think I came this far by being dumb? Come on, man. You think I ain't see that nigga, huh? It's a joke, huh? So, I'm a hoe. You hear me? Don't mix my rap life with my music life. I am pure.
Clearly, the beef between Youngboy and Boulevard Quick had gotten incredibly personal,
What?
and now mothers were involved. Unfortunately,
What did he say?
He was basically saying that like he basically was on live, so he was saying that he's not like he pussy, so he's not gonna do nothing.
Right.
So he can't like
They can't use anything.
said don't mix his rap life with his real life or some shit.
Yeah.
for Boulevard Quick,
That's funny.
he would soon be facing the grave consequences of dishing out such public and personal insults. In one of his last public appearances on IG Live, Boulevard Quick would ask fans why people want to kill people from TBG so bad, telling fans that it's because they're dangerous and a threat to their ops.
I really want to know the reason why kill TBG so bad. Because we are a fucking problem. That's why. We are a fucking problem. We don't see TBG with nothing because we are going to be a real fucking threat to society.
On November the 26th, 2018, around 12:30 a.m., police would respond to reports of a shooting after neighbors heard 5 shots. They would attend Lakeside Villas apartment complex in the 2400 block of Weldwood, where Boulevard Quick lived. And here, they would discover the body of Quick, real name Ashton Wells, who had been shot dead and left at the scene, murdered in cold blood just outside of his home, circumstances chillingly similar to the fate of Big Dump. It would seem obvious that these two tragic slayings may have some connection. TBG rapper Fredo Bang would post a tribute to Boulevard Quick, saying they accept everything that comes with the street life and calling Quick's death part of God's plan. And he would go on to continue to show love to Quick on Instagram in the years that followed. Meanwhile, NBA members would mock the murdered TBG rival, particularly Youngboy, who would appear to gloat on social media and in songs following Quick's death. The day after Quick died, Youngboy would appear on an IG Live with an enormous smile, reciting lyrics to his upcoming song, My Mama Say, where he said that people keep saying they're going to touch him, but they keep dying. The full song would drop on Youngboy's latest mixtape, Reeler, the following month, and that song would be wall-to-wall with lyrics about how Youngboy uses money to leave his rivals dead, and claiming to catch the boy who's been dissing and shoot them in the face, and ending the track with an outro saying they leave stains in front of people's homes. Elsewhere on that mixtape, Youngboy would continue to perpetuate his image as a shot caller, dropping bags on his enemies' heads. On the track Play With Us, Youngboy claims to be plotting the next murder with his hitters, explaining his expectation for somebody to be killed in exchange for a check. That was followed by more lyrics claiming to be giving direct instructions to his shooters to deliver a body before claiming to deny any knowledge if the authorities try and link him to the hit. Then there's the song Valuable Pain, where Youngboy admits his killers look up to him and that he hopes all of the bodies he's responsible for don't catch up to him. But Youngboy would go on to drop much more pointed hints about his connection to Boulevard Quick's death later in his career. A leaked Youngboy track called Impact surfaced in the summer of 2020, and had lyrics where Youngboy seemed to suggest that he had had Boulevard Quick killed in direct retaliation for disrespecting his mother. He would also flip lyrics from Quick's War With Us G-Mix. In that song, Boulevard Quick rapped, "All I say is watch the news because them bodies layin'." Well, 2 years after his death, Youngboy would refer to those lyrics on his murder anthem Dead Trolls, rapping, "That dude dead, tell me did he move, all he said was watch the news, talking Channel 9, I need to turn it to 2, it was 2 victims, ain't make it through." Now this is a deep lyric, as it was local news network Channel 9 WAFB that would report on Quick's death both on their website and TV broadcast. And the death of G Money in 2017 was announced on WBRZ News 2, another Louisiana news program shown on Channel 2. Youngboy would also reference putting his ops on Channel 9 again years later in the song Channel 9 on his 2023 mixtape Richest Op, where he claimed, once again, to be the murder man, and sneak dissing Boulevard Quick, saying his ops weren't quick on their feet. And in one more crazy lyric that seems to connect to this situation was on the track 1.5 from his album Don't Try This at Home, where Youngboy seems to refer to the situation where Boulevard Quick dissed his mother, rapping that his mother heard what he said about her and told Youngboy to leave him dead, with him rapping that he caught him and a few weeks later busted his head. But it wasn't just Youngboy disrespecting Quick. As time went on, his whole crew would continue to diss their fallen rival. NBA KD would mock both G Money and Boulevard Quick in an IG Live.
G wasn't quick enough. That was a cold.
Some people believe NBA Big B to have had something to do with this due to numerous lyrics where he claimed to have rolled up a fat op. On the track Smoke, he rapped, "Smoke in the air, there's a fat dude there. I done messed around and rolled him up, put him in my bag, and drop a bag on his head, I promise I'ma do it." And on the song Op Season, he raps, "He was talking, he got ran down by his front door." And even being seen in an unreleased song snippet saying, "The fat man didn't make it to December." NBA Herm would also tease snippets on Instagram where he appeared to rap that he got the drop on an op's apartment and a fat op dead. And NBA Ben 10 would respond to friends of Quick posting his music, laughing and saying he finds it funny when he sees dead people dissing him on the timeline.
So tell me, don't be funny. When you going down your timeline and you see a dead like Polar Boy, you dead.
Clearly Boulevard Quick was deeply invested in the gang war, and he wasn't going to stop until he killed someone or got killed himself. And in the end, he would wind up being the latest victim of another senseless murder. Another young man whose life would be cut short before he could see any true success in his music. And while Youngboy would be happily moving on with his life after losing his close friend and manager dumped to the streets, with one of his biggest enemies and the person rumoured to have had something to do with Dump's murder now out of the way too, it wouldn't be as easy as simply walking away from the violence back to his rap career. Youngboy too would ultimately be too deep in this beef to simply move on and focus on music, because now friends of Boulevard Quick were grieving and looking for their revenge. And even while seeking refuge in other states, far away from the violence of Baton Rouge, that danger would seem to follow Youngboy everywhere he went, raining death and destruction all around him.
Trump Hotel Shootout.
By 2019, Youngboy was a long way from the dangerous streets of Baton Rouge. He was now a Billboard charting recording artist with a multi-million-dollar record deal and a whole lot of people depending on him. He was also on probation, getting a 10-year suspended sentence for his role in a double attempted murder the day after his cousin was killed. So, he would have to move smart if he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity being offered to him. After accepting his plea deal and narrowly avoiding 10 years in prison, Youngboy vowed to leave the dangers of Baton Rouge for Los Angeles, rapping on his comeback single Untouchable that he needed to move to a city where he didn't need to stay armed to be safe, with Youngboy even explaining in a Genius interview about that lyric that he simply didn't need to worry about people shooting at him in Los Angeles. Youngboy would be seen mobbing in LA surrounded by his NBA brothers in the music video for his 2017 song 41, where he was clearly living the high life, pulling up to the cookout in a fresh Lamborghini drop top. A Lamborghini which he would duly total within a month, leading to him and his manager Big Dump being sued in LA. Youngboy's life was truly chaotic wherever he went, but he'd be better off crashing a Lambo in Beverly Hills than he would be crashing out and gangbanging in Baton Rouge. So his team kept him out of the streets and in the studio where he could focus on making more hits. And those hits would continue to come thick and fast. By this point, Youngboy had dropped an insane 14 full projects, with 8 songs charting on the Billboard Hot 100 and an insane 11 projects charting on Billboard's 200 album chart. At the start of 2019, Youngboy was riding high off the news that he had been named as YouTube's top streaming artist in the United States for nearly 101 weeks straight, with it being claimed that he had racked up a whopping 8 million global views just on YouTube per day, giving him yet another reason to go by the nickname Top, which he apparently got from his grandfather originally. Youngboy wasn't just having success, he was becoming one of the all-time greats of the rap genre. With his unmatchable work rate, creativity, and realness, by just age 19, he had cemented himself as one of the top rappers to ever do it, and no doubt, all of this success was having a devastating effect on the enemies that he had left behind in Baton Rouge. And Youngboy would continue to use his music and position at the top of the rap game to taunt his rivals and drop clues about the goings-on in Baton Rouge's gang underworld. His first release in 2019 was the song Kick Your Door, an aggressive home invasion anthem where Youngboy rapped about kicking in doors and doing robberies with his gang. In April 2019, he dropped his new song Free D-Dog, a tribute to an incarcerated homie. The track was an aggressive murder anthem where Youngboy would boast confidently about having people killed for disrespecting him or his people or speaking on him. He would seem to diss his former crew turned ops TBG, saying that certain people used to run his city but now they can't even claim it, and ending the song saying that his ops will become victims and end up on the news. These lyrics seem to be a cloaked reference to G Money and Boulevard Quick, two rappers from rival crew TBG who had been gunned down during their beef with NBA. And no doubt that their surviving friends, Fredo Bang and Lit Yoshi from TBG, were furious about the ongoing disrespect after losing their close friends. And unfortunately for Youngboy, soon his beef in the streets would collide with his music career with disastrous consequences. In April 2019, Fredo Bang releases his latest project, Big Ape, an album that saw him repping his TBG flag with pride and dropping numerous songs that included cloaked threats towards Youngboy. On the opening track, Shoot, he dropped numerous lyrics claiming to be putting money up for people to be killed, even saying outright, when it's beef, nobody's safe, even if you're rich. Throughout the project, he would drop hints towards putting prices on his ops' heads, and it was clear from Fredo Bang's lyrics that TBG wanted Youngboy gone. And it would only be a month after that project released that the real-life violence would continue to play out on the streets. But this time, trouble wouldn't play out in the slums of Baton Rouge. In fact, the gang warfare would follow Youngboy to the sandy beaches of Miami. In May 2019, everyone's favorite rap music festival, Rolling Loud, would be set to take place in Miami, and Youngboy would be in town to perform at the festival in what would be a hugely lucrative and high-profile performance. Youngboy was booked to play on the Sunday, May 12th slot where Kid Cudi was headlining, but this was a star-studded weekend, and many of the biggest names in the rap game would be in town to perform at this event. Lil Durk was due to perform on Friday, Saturday saw Lil Wayne, 21 Savage, Kodak Black, and Chief Keef touch the stage, and on Sunday, fans would see Lil Uzi, Gucci Mane, G Herbo sharing the stage with Youngboy. However, all of these crews in town at the same time, no doubt there would be interconnected beefing going on between numerous camps. Apparently, early Friday morning, Youngboy was attending a strip club party with Young Thug, who was due to perform Saturday, where apparently somebody popped off a few rounds at the party bus that was driving between venues, an attack which TMZ reported was targeting Young Thug.
Young Thug and his entourage became the apparent victims of a drive-by shooting that went down this morning on I-95.
The shooting happened on Interstate 95, and Youngboy's TBG nemesis Lit Yoshi would later rap on the song Cutter, which dropped a couple of months later in June 2019, that he caught him on the interstate, 7 swerved, I was bussin', seemingly a reference to the shooting on the interstate and naming fellow TBG affiliate 7 Hardaway as the driver. But unfortunately for Youngboy, that was only the beginning of the trouble, because at this point, it seemed that his ops were in town and on the hunt to try and catch Youngboy lacking. Lit Yoshi would actually be seen on social media that weekend, riding around Miami, listening to
Fred said that he was in here and he was going to roll him out, and then he still performed after the shooting and shit.
I thought he didn't.
No, that was like Texas Johnny's. They said earlier in the video, it was like he was in Austin, Texas, about to perform, and then arrested him. I was talking about Miami. He was like a Rolling Loud John. He had a shootout, and then he still ended up performing.
Fredo Bang's album and holding a rifle, seemingly looking for Youngboy. On Sunday the 12th of May, when Youngboy was due to perform, he would make a tweet that was geolocation tagged to Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, warning his ops that he doesn't care who they are or what they did, he will up his gun on them. Fans would warn Youngboy that the location tag on his tweet meant his ops might be able to locate him, but it was unfortunately too late. Youngboy's enemies would work out that he was staying at the Trump International...
I didn't know that. You know how Instagram be trying to have your location on? Yeah. Twitter had it. He tweeted something and they already put his location on without, I guess he had it on like in the settings. Nutty.
So, like,
hotel.
Huh?
I thought he was saying that he did that on purpose.
No, they were saying that they were trying to tell him that shit was on, because you know sometimes like on new apps or like they'll add a new setting by location and it'll be on already and you gotta turn it off, like Snapchat. Yeah, that's nutty. I did not know that was how it happened, bro. That's crazy.
Beach resort in Sunny Isles, Miami. Apparently Youngboy was traveling with a large crew that included his girlfriend, as well as OG3 and several other unnamed affiliates and family members. As Youngboy left the hotel with his entourage to make his way to the Rolling Loud festival performance, the group would be ambushed by a black Cadillac outside the hotel. According to reports, somebody opened fire from the Escalade towards Youngboy's entourage, prompting return fire from members of his crew who had their own gun, with court papers later explaining that Youngboy, his family, and entourage were traveling in a 2-car convoy that was shot up drive-by style, with the front car that carried his mother and friends being shot first, with Youngboy and his girlfriend in the second car that was then also shot at. This would be a chaotic scene, and Youngboy's girlfriend, Kaylin Marie Long, was hit in the shoulder and later taken to hospital. But the biggest tragedy of all would be a case of incredible bad luck, as according to court documents, in Youngboy's car was a bag full of guns, and when shots started flying, members of Youngboy's entourage returned fire with apparently legally registered firearms, and apparently, at some point in the chaos, Youngboy himself was given a gun and begun shooting back too. Authorities later described them as standing at the valet section, firing rifles wildly from the hip. Inevitably, this ended up with some tragic consequences, as 3 bystanders were hit in the crossfire, with it being reported that a 5-year-old child was grazed by a bullet. But even more tragic, one of these gunshots fired between these 2 warring crews claimed the life of an innocent bystander. 43-year-old Mohammed Jaradi, an honest, hard-working guy minding his own business who had just finished his shift working at the Hertz rent-a-car across the street, would catch a stray bullet and end up losing his life. This was a chaotic scene, with bullets flying and bodies dropping in the middle of the street in a major American city in broad daylight. Eventually, the police would shut down the street and gain control of the crime scene, and footage would circulate showing people being detained at the scene.
It says after rolling out. Hear me?
Huh?
It says after rolling loud. But after the show, I think he already performed at this point.
Wait.
Once the location had been locked down, the local news began to report on this Wild West shootout.
There was some sort of altercation that took place between 2 rappers who were actually set to perform at the Rolling Loud Festival this evening. Witnesses say they heard someone fire shots, at least 4 or 5 rounds. A woman was struck and raced to Aventura Hospital. Immediately following that shooting, the fight then spilled over again to the strip mall parking lot where we are at. This is directly across the street from the hotel. A man here, again, was shot and killed. A friend of the victims tells me off camera that he was simply an innocent bystander. He was working at the Hertz rental car company here at the strip mall and just parking a car when he was caught in the crossfire.
Now a new and a tragic day for one South Florida family. Their loved one becomes an innocent victim after shots are fired in the middle of the afternoon.
This type of behavior in this community is not acceptable.
A furious mayor of Sunny Isles Beach speaks out against the violence that erupted in his usually quiet town on Sunday afternoon. It was just before 2 o'clock when police received a 911 call about gunshots fired outside Trump International Beach Resort. When they arrived, they found 19-year-old Kaylin Long of Maryland had been shot inside a black Suburban, and across the street, an innocent man lies dead in the driver's seat of a dark gray van. Long was initially taken to Aventura Hospital. The streak of stray bullets did not end there.
Across the street, there was a 5-year-old little boy that was grazed by a bullet.
Police seized several weapons from the Trump Hotel and combed multiple scenes where gun shells and bullet holes were spotted. Witnesses tell CBS 4 the people involved were rappers reportedly here for the Rolling Loud musical festival.
Despite reports of Youngboy being detained at the scene, in the midst of the chaos, he would actually manage to break free from authorities, being seen in footage later circulated by TMZ showing him giving his wounded girlfriend medical attention before jumping in a black SUV and fleeing the scene. From here, Youngboy made his way to the Rolling Loud Festival site, performing his set as planned immediately after surviving this assassination attempt. Breaking free from an active crime scene where you were a participant in a shootout so that you can go and perform at a festival might seem cool on paper, but when Youngboy got off that stage, he would have to face the consequences of what had just happened. However, there would still be some lucky breaks for the NBA crew. Apparently, investigators couldn't even charge anybody in Youngboy's entourage for shooting back, despite the fact that an innocent bystander was killed, because all of Youngboy's crew that was still at the scene claimed self-defense, and the state of Florida has a stand your ground law in place, whereby if an individual truly believes that deadly force is necessary to protect themselves or to prevent a crime, they can potentially be immune from prosecution. The cops said that they were apparently looking to determine who had shot first, as whoever shot first could apparently be charged with first-degree murder of the innocent bystander, even if it wasn't their bullet hitting them. In order to try and ensure that Youngboy wasn't held liable, his legal team described the scene as an assassination attempt of which he was the target.
He's an absolute victim. There's no question. Police investigated it. They talked to him. His car was shot up. He was leaving the hotel. He had his mother in the car. He had his girlfriend in the car. And somebody came up, and I don't know what the weapons were. I don't know if it was an AK or what it was, but they opened fire and lit him on fire.
Youngboy and his label apparently even offered to cover the funeral costs for the innocent man who died, but it's unclear as to whether or not they were taken up on this offer. And Youngboy's lawyer had said that apparently he felt terrible about this and that he had wished it had been him that was killed rather than the innocent man. It was also initially reported that apparently Youngboy had refused to cooperate with law enforcement who wanted to know who had initiated the shootout. But Youngboy later said that that was just miscommunication and that they hadn't really been given enough time to try and convince Youngboy to speak to them about the incident, suggesting that he was scared to cooperate. With none of the actual antagonists who shot first in custody, however, unfortunately the consequences of this incident would still fall on Youngboy's shoulders. And due to the fact that he was already on thin ice because of the 10-year suspended sentence he got for the attempted murder charges in 2016, a week later he would have to return to Baton Rouge for a court hearing where he was swiftly put back behind bars, with TMZ reporting that he had been jailed once again for violating his probation. This would be numerous violations, including being seen holding a gun in public and being caught in the presence of NBA Boomer and Ben when the terms of his plea forbid him from associating with them. And apparently the judge had also claimed to have seen a video on social media of Youngboy antagonizing his ops. Now, this was supposedly a social media which the judge claimed she saw, but then Youngboy's lawyer, and myself included, couldn't even find.
The judge said that she looked at a news feed regarding the article, and in the comments there was some sort of embedded video that she since tried to look up, and I don't think she was able to find. So she wants to see if the district attorney's office can find whatever videos they find. But I don't know what the video is. I haven't seen it.
But based on some of the things I've read, I'm pretty sure the video they're referring to was a clip where Youngboy actually dissed blog site The Shade Room for covering him negatively.
I'm so sick of the Shade Room trying to paint me as a bad person. What the f is wrong with you? I know whoever running this page is grown. What the f is you worried about a teenager for?
So it seems the judge kind of misinterpreted what he had done, but I don't think he was supposed to be on social media like that. Anyway, meanwhile in Miami, the police would reveal to the public that they had absolutely no idea who the shooters were, but that they were looking for 3 suspects armed with an AK-47 and other handguns. Coincidentally, with this seeming to describe that very social media clip of TBG rapper Lit Yoshi posted just before the shooting when he was riding around Miami with an AK-47 listening to Fredo Bang. So, with Lit Yoshi still at large, Youngboy would be left in a Baton Rouge jail, reflecting...
That's crazy that that nigga was with Ben, because like after I think in 2017, like the judge was like, when he first got out that charge, when he first, or I don't know if it was the first day or whatever, but he wasn't allowed to be around like Ben, like they just said.
Yeah.
I think it was with him. It's crazy.
On everything that had just happened. Clearly, Youngboy himself was devastated by this sequence of events. He was trying to move on with his life and career away from Baton Rouge, but the violence and death would just continue to follow him wherever he went. Perhaps it was karma for the violence that he had claimed responsibility for. In the song No Understand from Youngboy's February 2021 project, Still Flexin', Still Steppin', Youngboy even speaks on this shooting, saying that as the bullets flew, he didn't have enough time to grab his own gun, and saying that Baba Osama shot back, a claim that is seemingly confirmed by Girardi's family, who is suing both Youngboy and Baba in relation to the shooting. And then in the next line, Youngboy seems to pay respects to that innocent bystander who lost his life, as well as the child who was grazed in the shootout, saying that he feels the pain of the innocent, and that when he did his time in jail following the incident, he felt nothing, as he felt that the pain that he went through was suffering that he deserved on behalf of the man who lost his life and the child who was grazed, who shouldn't have been dragged into his conflicts. Following the shooting at the Trump Hotel in Miami, Youngboy would remain in jail for 90 days before being released, but he would be seen in August 2019 looking like he'd put on some muscle, bailing out of jail and being picked up once again in a fresh Maybach. Youngboy would be seen in selfies with his mother, and he would later go on live with family in his garage upon getting home.
Say something to the people. Hello. Huh? I ain't never had 112 damn people in my life. I never go live. I'm so serious. But they want to see it. They're going to be like, oh, Miss Monique, look at it. What they saying, y'all? Kentrell, you still fine. I love you. He is still fine, baby. That's right, yeah. He look like a Mexican cartel. We looking, hey, but
you ever seen that viral picture of him with the mustache and shit? It was like a picture that everybody be posting. It was like him. He looked like a Mexican, but he be having the COVID mask on and shit. Like, it's just different variants of the same picture. They be like trolling and shit. Y'all probably know those memes.
That's like I know what you're talking about, back in
Yeah. The judge would order Youngboy to remain on house arrest for 12 months following his release, with the court apparently deciding not to completely revoke his...
This is when he dropped one of the top 3 songs ever, bro. House arrest thing. First time he was on house arrest 2020, he dropped the best house arrest things, bro. That shit was so good, bro.
Probation, giving him the opportunity to finish out his remaining year of probation without further punishment, in a deal that would not allow him to perform for the entire year either. So no more trips to Miami or California, and no more concerts. So Youngboy, for the first time in his career, would be confined to his home, unable to play shows, shoot music videos, or slide on ops. He would remain in his home and focus on the one thing that made him successful: recording and releasing music. Already a prolific releaser of music, now with no distractions, as ordered by the court, Youngboy would kick his creative spirit into overdrive, not only recording an insane amount of music, but arguably delivering the best bodies of work of his entire career, and going on a once-in-a-lifetime run of success, the likes of which the music industry had never seen. After getting out of jail, Youngboy picked up his career right where he left off, on September the 1st, 2018, dropping a new track called Slime Mentality. This was yet another aggressive murder anthem where Youngboy pledges allegiance to his gang, 4K Trey, and letting everybody know that him and his whole family, including his mother, father, sister, and brother, all see themselves as Slime members too. Following that up with audacious lyrics about dropping more bags to have rivals killed, and even promising to die in the hunt for revenge for Dump's death. And all of this apparently while ducking the watchful eye of his parole officer. And the chorus of the song lays bare the realities of life in Youngboy's circle, made cold and ruthless from growing up in such a harsh environment, forcing him to be constantly armed and ready to kill anyone who might want to come and kill him from his city or even out of town, all while confidently boasting that the whole city knows that he and his shooters will kill before they let anyone take them down. Upon his release, Youngboy was being filmed from the moment he walked out of the prison gates, with that footage serving as the introductory sequence for his next song and music video, the track Self-Control. The song came with lyrics where Youngboy reflected on the pain he felt after Boozilla was killed and wanting to avenge Dump's death. On the hook, Youngboy sings a unique melody all about how his chronic smoking habit is a tactic to stop himself from being so dangerous, and describing his entourage as equally dangerous, ready to shoot at the slightest provocation. 20 days after that, he would drop a follow-up song, the iconic House Arrest Kings. That track completely blew up on release, racking up millions of views within days, and to this day, still sitting around 100 million views on YouTube. He would also appear as a feature on the track Richer Than Everybody, with industry heavy hitters Gucci Mane and DaBaby. Youngboy was dropping songs all in anticipation of his next full-length project, which did not disappoint. On October the 11th, 2019, Youngboy dropped his latest mixtape,
You know how many niggas became YB fans after this? I remember we was in school, this was freshman year. Or was it freshman year? Yeah, freshman year. Sab, my roommate, bro, he didn't like Youngboy, bro. When AI Youngboy 2 came out and I played this shit every single day, all day. The whole hallway where my dorm was at, everybody in that joint singing Slime Mentality. Every time I would come back to my dorm, they'd be like, yo, play that Slime Mentality. I would open my door up and they'd be like, oh, my sister's Slime. They would be so hyped singing that shit, bro. And now they all fuck YB after that shit, bro. Slime Mentality, bro.
I do remember, though, that year, like, I would hear a lot of people be like, yo, you think Youngboy better than your favorite rapper? And then we would have arguments and shit. I didn't even know who Youngboy really was.
Bro, I remember that when that shit dropped, I literally left class early. Like, right when it released on YouTube, I literally just, like, got up and left.
Oh, my God.
Because it was Friday, and it released in the middle of the day. That's when he would just release randomly. He was supposed to release Thursday night, but he just released it in the middle of, like, it was, like, my last class of the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And he released it with, like, 10, 20 minutes left in the class, and I just was like, I'm out. that shit was greatness, bro. That shit was greatness.
Youngboy 2. This, in my opinion, is Youngboy's best project, and perhaps one of the greatest albums in modern rap history. AR Youngboy 2 is wall-to-wall with some of Youngboy's best songs, and throughout the project he showcases an incredible range as a melodic rapper and singer. The project just oozes creativity, and the songs are really like nothing else out there. It's unmistakably unique, with Youngboy using his trademark style to sing, rap, and whine perfect melodies, all painting a picture of his wild ride from the gutter to the very top of the rap industry. So I actually did an entire breakdown of all of the most important lyrics in AI Youngboy 2, but it made the video way too long. So if you want to see that, it's in the uncut version that's on Patreon, or it's going to be in the extended version of this chapter going up on my third channel, Trap Law Clips, soon. Ultimately, Youngboy, stuck on house arrest, poured his heart into his music, and it resulted in one of the most incredible bodies of work in rap history. AI Youngboy 2 scored a roaring debut, selling an impressive 110,000 units in its first week, and earning Youngboy his first #1 Billboard 200 chart hit. But that wouldn't be Youngboy's only chart milestone that week, as the week before AI Youngboy released, Youngboy would end up collaborating with Chicago pop rap star Juice WRLD on the song Bandit. The pairing of Juice WRLD and Youngboy made for an incredible duo, with Juice's vocals and love song ideas elevating the track conceptually, contrasting with Youngboy's verse, a classic aggressive murder rap, where he raps openly about having problems and getting rid of people for $20,000, once again painting a picture of his lifestyle, surrounded by killers and sliding on their ops with guns. This track no doubt introduced Youngboy and Juice WRLD to big audiences that they might not have previously accessed. That track was released on October the 4th, 2019, and this would sadly be the last single released by Juice WRLD before his unfortunate death from an overdose on December the 8th, 2019. Bandit would peak at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Youngboy's highest charting song of his career to date, and it also became an international hit, charting in 20 countries. And by the end of 2019, Youngboy had cemented himself as one of the greats in the rap game. He wasn't just taking over the rap game, but he was influencing its direction going forward, and in the coming years, Youngboy's influence would be undeniable. However, time and time again, the thing holding him back would be legal issues. But luckily, soon Youngboy would catch a major win, shaking free of a case that had been dogging him for years, and paving the way for him to follow up AI Youngboy 2, eventually going on one of the most impressive runs that the rap game had ever seen.
Off probation, still stepping, still flexing. That's it for this part, bro. RIP Juice WRLD, bro. 2019, what a time to be alive. Pre-COVID, pre-weirdness, pre-bot shit.
No, for real, actually.
Pre-greatness, bro. That shit was 29. I ain't gonna lie, like, this shit making me just remember everything, like, reminiscing everything, bro. Like, AI Youngboy 2 probably is, like, top 3 album all time for YB, honestly. That shit was good. What you think? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the like button, follow the Instagram, follow the Twitch, follow the TikTok, all our handles in the description below. We out.